Hey,
Hey, fellas.
Hey,
what's up, guys?
Oh, we got Fern on the call. Let's go.
how are you, man?
Oh, I gotta do some audio stuff here.
Yeah, I'm recording.
Always. Hello. It's good to see
Um,
your faces, man. I haven't
yeah,
Absolutely,
seen
dude.
you.
likewise.
Has it been half a year? Is that real and true and happening? That's fucking insane. I can't believe it's
Oh, wow.
November.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. But yeah, nonetheless, good to see you guys. So,
Likewise.
Yeah,
yeah.
man.
Um, yeah. Congratulations and kudos
Yeah,
for all
fellas.
the incredible fucking work. Getting
Thank you.
Alloy up and looking so amazing.
Oh, it looks
I mean,
sick.
it wasn't that much work, right, Fern?
I
Just,
Pretty
I
just
think
kind of threw it together kind of
Yeah,
last minute. It's like, oh
no.
wait, we did say October, right? So we
Some
better just
sketches, couple
throw
we
something
doodles.
up.
we did say October and we kept to October, right, Rory?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Like
you made
Nailed
it.
pretty
it.
amazed. Pretty amazed by that. I
I
think we could have
did
really
not
gone a
think we
week or
would
two
do it.
earlier if we would have pushed, but
Yeah. I mean, we had a bunch of stuff in there, but it
yeah,
was a lot of it was just trying to figure out editing, both from the writing and illustration side of like, how do we do this?
Yeah,
But we got there. It was fun, and it continues to be fun. It's just like you know, trying to refine almost a little bit day by day, figure out the path, and make stuff that is just interesting to us. So
yeah. Maybe before we go any further with it, because I immediately have like a million follow-up
True.
yeah.
questions, we should just introduce the pod and say
Oh
that
wow,
this
look at
is
you, Peter.
Oh my god, Peter's taking initiative. This
I'm
is the
on
best day
top of
of my
shit
life.
today, man. Uh tired. We're tired. We're back. We're tired. The car podcast for people who understand that cars are bad. Man, he's like about to spit his
Peter goes,
spit his
I'm on
drink
top of
out.
it, and immediately.
I'm on top. Well,
That's a,
hey, it's like you gotta set your expectations at a reasonable level here. Um, yeah. Anyway, Rory Carroll, Matthew Riley, me, Peter Hughes, and we're joined today by Fernando Pino. Is it Pino or Pino? Do you go with the
Pino,
name?
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Pino. Okay.
Fernando Pino. That's
Um,
our man.
and who's back with us? Joined us earlier this summer after our
Rudely
hangout
joined.
at Watkins Glen.
No, it was awesome. It's guerrilla
together.
style.
But yeah, we're here today to talk about the launch of Alloy magazine,
Yes.
Yeah.
the website,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
the
confusingly
internet
named-
magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've never actually talked about that minor confusing factor, Rory.
Eh,
Like,
I feel
Well,
like it's just kind
it's
of
kind of
understood,
correct
It's like
in the effort,
yeah,
but not
I don't,
the physically thing
well,
is not
and
there yet.
let's be honest, the alloy.com URL was not available and alloymag.com was available, so there we go.
That's right.
So,
there you
Yeah.
go.
yeah.
Made the decision for us.
Did you guys know the etymology of the word magazine originally comes from the Arabic word for a storehouse? And so there's really nothing
That's-
about paper involved.
In
Oh, there you go.
in French, magazine is store. So
There you
like
go.
yeah,
Oh.
and most other languages, yeah. I don't know how it became the name of a paper product. That is an interesting.
Well, it was
Interesting.
a I mean, I guess in the years of where media was dominated by print, magazine was a storehouse for period. I mean, it was kind of synonymous with a periodical, sort
Yeah.
but it was like a periodical storehouse of information and entertainment.
I will
And
say
it
that the
continues to
effort,
be, just minus the print.
the effort in what we're doing is like very editorial based. So the it doesn't like those two things in my mind are still connected somehow, even though it's not like an actual physical magazine. But maybe one day we will.
Yeah, I think the approach, like you said, it's like a website is like something like typically a blog. Like you just put up a post in kind of a format, in kind of like it's like you're filling out text boxes effectively. But like the fact that like everything is being laid out individually, story by story, is a more magazine like approach. And I think like the workflow that we're getting into now is like kind of more magazine like, but also like very fast. Like like the magazine layout would take days and days to do, and like Fern's doing layouts in a half an hour to an hour, which each individual layout taking half an hour to an hour. Some take much longer, but it is like a weirdly like hybrid flow that we're in right now. But
I want like a large printing press behind me that just doesn't work, but just kind of like it's always like a pressure on it. It's sort of how it feels.
Yeah,
for ambiance.
we can.
It seems like you could that there probably are those that you could probably get one.
Andy's
or
got
possibly
a huge,
free.
Yes,
Andy's got a huge working printing press in the factory in Detroit.
Yo,
There you go.
Which it's like it's big enough you can print like full size posters. It's enormous, like it's the size of a semi, and it's 2 lines.
this is Andy, the
Rossi,
hoarder of many
former
things.
hoarder.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He's somewhat reformed.
he does have a printing press. I don't know. Let's see this open and shut case.
Yeah. He got rid of a bunch of stuff. Got rid of a bunch of stuff and still has a
printing press in a factory.
Yeah.
It's good. You got to downsize somewhere. You got to be compromised.
Is it operational?
You got to start somewhere. Yeah.
Oh.
Is it operational, right?
Oh yeah. He's printing stuff.
It is.
Yeah.
That's
it's
extremely
sweet.
sick.
Oh, we should do something with them.
We should.
Yeah.
Is this like a 4-color?
What? You're gonna get me wondering what I don't know what kind of press it, but he can print. Yes, he can print posters and T-shirts and
That'd be cool.
Anything that is screen printed, I think. Let's see.
Oh, okay. So it's like a screen print.
Oh no, sorry, it's not a screen print. What's the other one? It's like sort of the
like lithograph.
Oh,
lithograph?
the one with the stuff.
Like an actual press, right?
Yeah,
just, like literally just presses on.
Okay, let's see. Here's a video. New test print off our vintage printing line at the factory. Blah, blah. We restored some of the printing equipment to make our own art prints.
Like a Lino thing?
Oh, wait. He's printing on adhesive vinyl. Huge sticker. 6 colors of UV ink. I don't know. Yeah, it looks like... So what would that be? It's printing on vinyl, so is that a...
I mean, I guess technically you can kind of print on anything.
Yeah. Okay, so...
But I don't know. I feel like we're getting sidetracked.
Well, this will happen. It's an MR80 flat stock.
Peter's calling up his old days in the 90s, having to work in 1 million different print-based jobs.
Well, I did pre-press stuff. I never actually worked in a print shop. So really? I kind of like my experience kind of ended at the kind of outputting and I didn't even do the outputting. I mean, I was adjacent in a office adjacent to the outputting, and I hung out with those guys when they smoked cigarettes.
We're actually running into a classic internet problem right now where we're trying to find a piece of obscure printing equipment, and the entirety of like the first couple pages of results are just spamming me trying to sell me a printer.
True.
Google. It's like, oh, you need a new printer. Here's an Epson desktop
Yeah.
printer for $80. You can pick it up today at the Walmart.
Really true.
Really
Well,
sad.
maybe that's I mean, the thing that strikes me about Alloy, that most immediately strikes me about it, just both the experience of reading it, perusing it, but also just kind of like stepping back and thinking about it conceptually, and just knowing what I know from having heard you guys talk about it and your ideas for it is, I mean, we are all kind of intimately familiar with the both the phrase and the experience of the enshittification of everything, the Cory Doctorow thing that he's kind of hung his hat on. I feel like Alloy feels to me like almost like the best way to explain it to somebody coming into it is like, this is like a first step in the process that has to happen of de-shitifying the world.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
I mean,
a lot of pressure.
is that accurate? I mean, not to say that it's going to accomplish it on its own, but it's like, I feel like we have to just start pushing back and just making stuff that works against that process.
I think that, that is like it's funny because early on with this, I had gotten this like instruction or offer or whatever to like pitch this site to a new this other company. I think we talked about this last time, and like they are in kind of an auto adjacent business, and it was like, hey, this is an opportunity to build something that doesn't really have to make a ton of money, and can kind of like do a bunch of kind of marketing messaging things for us on the side or in the background, and we can like use it to kind of meet marketers and all this other stuff. And as we were developing it, it initially was going to be just like a pure programmatic kind of like, what if Jalopnik but better? What if a different site but better? And Fern really like started, like I guess I started from like my assumptions of like, this is how websites work and like this is what the business is, and like Fern really started interrogating those questions, like not coming from publishing and saying like, well, okay, why is it like that? Why does it have to be like that? Why is it like that? And it's like, that's what led us down the path of like the things are bad for a reason. Like these sites are struggling financially, and some of them are struggling to kind of define their legs editorially for a reason, and the reason is the model, and it's like structural. And I think like it's funny, like it took Fern to push me in that direction, whereas like, my entire life outside of this business and philosophically is like trying to find the structural causes for like any given issue. Like, but Fern was like, actually, I remember like the initial discussion was like, Fern, you were like, I was like, where are we going to put the banner ads on the site? And you were like, I've been looking at it, and they're ugly. It sucks. He's like, do we have to do that? And I was like, yeah, of course you have to do it, like stable stakes. And he's like, okay, but why? And then that's where,
yeah,
Delightful.
I did actually make a version with banner ads, and
that's right.
I even yeah, like I was actually trying to find the first couple iterations to show you guys, because the first one was so fucking out of left field that I don't think, like, it's kind of funny thinking about it now, like where we ended up. But there was a version of Ally with banners, and every conversation that we had was, it just kept being like, how do we get out of this? you know.
Yeah. Were you just like grabbing banner ads off of other sites and just like
yeah, pretty much.
slapping them on top? It's like,
I mean,
you
I
know,
don't know if you've seen them, but they're free. They're everywhere. Right?
Yeah.
I just grab them and
the thing
actually,
is that, like, there are sites now. I mean, I look at lots of, and just like car sites and if, like, I forget which one it was the other day, like maybe it was Motor One that like now isn't letting me use an ad blocker.
Oh my god.
oh
Because
really?
I don't look at anything without, that's
Yeah.
not ad blocked, right?
Yeah.
It's because I can't fucking take it.
No.
And
Yeah.
Untenable.
and it's just like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm just not going to look at this website anymore
Yeah,
because
right.
it's mostly all just fucking garbage anyways.
Yeah.
It's all just like posting like TikToks or whatever. And it's like I don't need to sift through all of that and have just like shit flashing in my face. It's like it's not worth it to me.
Yeah. It's funny because I didn't even think about having banner ads on this site, and I was like, oh yeah, like how do we make money?
Yeah.
But I haven't seen a banner ad in a long time because I've had
Yep.
ad
Yeah,
blockers.
Yeah,
that was
I
a
know.
really
Yeah,
funny.
that's the thing. It's
Like,
like when
oh,
you
right.
I was like-
actually do it's just like
I had to. We had to. I was like, friend, you got to turn your ad block off and go to some of these sites. And he was like, oh my god. It's
yeah,
like-
it's just a nightmare, man.
Yeah, like I was like, I hadn't seen any of them on any of the other car sites, and then I turned it on. I'm like, what the fuck
Yeah,
is
man.
going on?
It's brutal.
Like
Yeah.
you can't read, you can't scroll, like you
Yeah.
gotta reload.
No, I mean it's utterly unusable.
you can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
The,
yeah.
So what I mean, so how did you find a way around that?
Well, and that's like the question, right? Like I think
We're still looking.
yeah, no, we have an idea, and I think like it's been very well received. I think like there's a bunch of kind of problems that kind of all like coalesce or kind of like work together to make a lot of the sites bad. And I think like we're trying to address a bunch of them kind of like in the model. So I think like our first and foremost thing is this memberships and merch and live events stuff. I think like those are three areas that other sites kind of do but have not done to like haven't pushed it super far. I think like
Right. They're not leaning
like
on it.
yeah, and I think like Road and Track and Hearst does some really good live event stuff. They do some tours, and I think all that stuff is kind of like aspirational for us, like to get to that point. I think we can do better merch than most of the sites. I think like that's kind of an afterthought to everybody except like the former Hoonigan iteration.
That was exactly what I just thought of when you said that. It was
Yeah.
like, just like actually make stuff cool that people want.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a crazy concept. And then the but I think like that stuff, and then obviously the membership thing is like I think gonna be kind of like our backbone is and kind of gives us a measure of like independence. Those things are super important. I think there are also ways to kind of build that into more of a robust like member organization as far as like what you get for signing up and like what kind of experiences you get. Like can we organize track days for you? Can we like get you on some of the kind of experiences that like we get to do kind of as automotive journalists or just like more sicko brained enthusiasts than the average person? I think like that stuff gets really interesting as far as like deepening that relationship between us and our readers. And then we are also offering like this quarterly sponsorship thing, which is like basically instead of running ads in the site, an automaker or whoever can buy out a sponsorship for an entire quarter, and then we're providing them a bunch of like creative services stuff in exchange. So I think like we act kind of and when I say we, I mean me and Fern act a little bit as their kind of like a supplement to their agency to tell a specific story or to build a specific explanation for like the great example is like a new model or a new technology or whatever that is like because social media or regular media or whatever is so hard to control now. And this is like a long digression, but Maddie's like gonna edit half this out.
No,
But
no,
I
no.
think
it's
like
perfect. This is great.
I mean, this is exactly what I've been wondering about for the last 6
Yeah, yeah.
months. Like, like the actual mechanics of. I mean, I got the kind
Yeah.
of the idea and the concept, but
This is perfect.
So I
I
think
was fuzzy on
the sponsorship thing is like 10 years ago, if you were releasing a new car or a new technology, like, okay, we're going to do our first plug-in hybrid or whatever, there are a bunch of different ways to kind of explain to internal, your internal people, but also like the public, like what that means, why you're doing it, how it's done, how it all works. Because of the way the internet has kind of evolved over the last 10 years, it's really hard to tell those more complicated stories that require like some explanation now. So like you used to be able to put on your YouTube channel or on Instagram or whatever, like here's kind of the origin, this is like where we're starting with this project, this is like how it was developed, this is how it'll go to market, like this is how it will benefit your life, like kind of in this chronological like campaigny type way. Like you used to be able to do that in magazines. Like you used to be able to do buy a year's worth of placements in a magazine and tell like this longer story about the new Cadillacs and why they're good and all that stuff. But like obviously the magazine opportunities are fairly limited these days. There's just not a lot of them out there, and they're not as widely read as they used to be. So you would push that to social, to YouTube and Instagram and stuff, but because of the way all that content is served now, you have no control over how readers encounter it. So like in most cases, you're getting stuff completely out of order, or like in the order that the algorithm wants you to see it, versus like in the order that it makes sense as a story. So our pitch is like we have I think in Fern and our kind of larger creative network, a really, really good group of people who can tell these kinds of like more nuanced, longer, harder to explain stories in a really visually interesting way. And then we can kind of get in and get out. So I think like the other way to do that is like Porsche has like Type 7, which is like this really incredible kind of Instagram magazine that like has a bunch of like print and digital like website extensions. And it all is kind of like there to tell these like bigger Porsche stories in a editorial way that's like not an ad and not like not doesn't require people to go to the Porsche site to read it. But obviously like that's a multi-year, multi-million-dollar investment that runs in the background for Porsche all the time, whether they need it or not. And this is like basically, what if you could just buy that for a quarter? So like, what if you could basically have me and Fern explain some stuff to the public for you for a quarter? So that's the pitch. And I think
and
like
would that be like in the form of content on the site, or would it be kind of like separate, or how does that work?
so obviously like there's an editorial part of the site that is totally independent of
Right.
this stuff does get distributed on the site as content, and then it also belongs fully to the client. So like if you are Honda or whatever, and we design a bunch of artwork and video and all that stuff for you, you are free to take it and then kind of repackage it and redeploy it, or if you want to run one of our images as an ad in Car and Driver, like that's totally fine with us. It's creative work that then belongs to them. So I think like there's obviously like some considerations there, and I think like this is a sticky issue that just like to be totally transparent, that a lot of like outlets have been dealing with for 20 years, like this conversation of like
Well, forever. I mean,
forever. Yeah.
forever in
Since,
automotive journalism, it's always kind of straddled this very kind of fine line between reporting journalism and marketing and advertising, and it's
we could go back
yeah,
to
it's always been
the
this kind of
2002 the
yeah,
David E. Davis
exactly.
story.
Right.
But I think in our case, in my situation with this, the way I look at this is the average car site, the average car outlet, you have at any given time 20, 30 advertisers that are trying to get, that your team is trying to kind of line up behind the scenes. And there are all kinds of very high level discussions about what those advertisers want from your publication. That is the case in every publisher in the country. I think like our approach with this is like through kind of transparency, where it's like, here's the stuff that we're trying to help an automaker with, and it's labeled like that on the site. And like, you don't have to wonder what else is going on in the background. Like, you don't have to wonder like who's going to win the awards, or who's going to like
car of the
win
year,
the track day or whatever. It's all like I said, like here is this relationship for the quarter, and then also like here's exactly what we're doing with them. Like, this is the stuff that we're making for them. And like I think the goal there is to kind of make that kind of stand on its own as like stories, like as like cool stuff, like some of the stuff that Fern and I have like prototyped, and that like Fern published that great video that he did with
Yeah, my buddy Marcio, who helped me animate it. Yeah.
But like that video of the air valve is exactly like, that's the kind of stuff where it's like fascinating, super fun to watch. If you, I don't know, maybe we can link it here, but it's like it's a 30-second video just explaining how this old manual air valve works, and it's like super cool, well illustrated.
I don't think I saw that one. I missed that one.
It's really good. It's on Instagram,
Okay,
but
cool.
it's like, that's the kind of stuff that like,
oh, that's why I missed it.
Yeah.
you can kind of
looking at Instagram.
you can kind of extrapolate that out to like to a modern automaker, and like what is cool about this specific piece of technology or this specific car, and like what's interesting about it. And like those are that's just like depth you're not getting on most sites these days. I think like
The hope is that the model helps us be able to make more of those things and kind of balance out the editorial approach, because I think everybody wants to do those things. I think people want to see them, but the model currently is that if you don't get eyeballs, you're dead. So
sure. Yeah. And I think like that's a judgment, to Fern's point too, like that's a judgment that certainly like at Jalopnik, like I can tell you our directive and kind of our incentive there was like, you need to maximize page views. And like my approach there in that was like, okay, how do we maximize page views while still like providing some like Jalopnik spirit, or like keeping this thing kind of alive and keeping it kind of like authentic or real or whatever, and like kind of true to itself in a sense. But it's like you're always balancing that that relationship between like, hey, look, I know this piece of viral video or whatever is going to do 1.5 million today, so like we're going to put this up, we're going to put these 3 other things up that are kind of shit, but like we're just going to put them up to get there, and then like that will allow us to do the stuff that we care about and the interesting stuff. And I think like what happens at most publishers is like you do that for a while, but you're always pushing and being pushed towards that viral, like that bigger content stuff that is like lower value, lower quality, but that is going to hit. And then what especially happens is when times get tough, which times are very tough right now in publishing, the pressure to do that stuff is very intense. And then it's like you start to understand doing that stuff as the difference between having a job and not having a job. And I think like that's where most of the people in automotive publishing are right now, and in publishing in general, is they're very aware of that understanding of like, look, to keep me and my remaining 3 colleagues or 5 colleagues
Yeah.
or whatever employed, this is what we have to do. But it's like,
Right.
there's
Well,
no
and
way to
as these publications get bought up by private equity guys who do not give a shit
Yeah.
about your, you
Yeah.
know, your quirky, cool, you know, content that keeps the spirit of the site from
Yeah.
20 years ago alive.
yeah, it just like but the thing with that is, and you know, the thing that Fern and I talked about early on with this project is there's no light at the end of that tunnel. There's no like,
Right.
oh, things are going back to normal at some point where we can
Right.
like do stuff that we care about again. It just keeps getting more and more kind of more, you get further and further down that road, and there's no way back from it. So I think like
That's what goes back to your point, Peter, about like at some point we got to push back and figure out a large
Just
part of our
conceptually, with a completely different, it's like, let's start over. Let's tear this up.
Yeah.
A large part of our conversations recently have been like, how do we, you know, and someone else told us along the way too, but how do you get them off the apps? How do you get them off the algorithm? And as you know, it's very hard to do.
More and more though, I feel like so many people are fucking ready. So many people. I mean, it's not just us. You know, I think that like everybody knows that the fucking algorithm is making us fucking miserable. And everybody is just desperate for anything that provides an alternative to that. And I do think that that's like a hunger that can be leveraged. I do think that that's you know, and that's a you know, I think that's a reason for hope, and also like a potential kind of business model of just like let's be the thing that people can turn to, you know, away from the slop.
It is funny because like, you know, there's like I have a weird like personality quirk or whatever, and this is like just allow me to kind of like walk through this for a second. But I think like I fundamentally am like a very cynical person, where it's like, you know, Peter and Maddie are on a group chat where like some cynical things maybe get said occasionally.
Sometimes, maybe a little.
Wait, but which one is that?
Yeah, but I think that I do think like fundamentally that I am, there's somewhere in the core of me, there's like an optimism where it's like a better world for internet publishers is possible, or for whatever is possible. Like you do, like there is that fundamental deep belief that like the things don't have to be like this. And I think like I am, as a something of like, you know, it's like because of whatever, because of the way I grew up and like my early career experiences or whatever, like I do have the ability, and I think like Jalopnik is a really good example, is like to kind of grit and bear, like, okay, this is a situation where like we're not producing exactly what I want to produce. How can we make it as good as possible, given the circumstances that we're in, and like find a way past this or find a way out of that. And I think like the Jalopnik thing, like the plan for me was like, okay, let's keep this as intact as we can, get it to a different ownership situation, which my plan was for me to own it, and then like see what we can do with it. And like, so I guess my what I'm saying is like I do have that ability to just be and just operate the thing under the strictures of like what needs to happen for the moment, and like we'll just see where it goes. And I think like all that to say, like I'm not like kind of like pie in the sky optimistic about this stuff generally. I do understand like sometimes like sometimes you just do what you have to do. But I think like in this specific case, Peter, to your point, the timing of people being kind of generally unhappy with the algorithm experience, generally extremely unhappy with the advertising experience. And then I think like going around, like it did, like when Fern and I first started talking about this approach, feel very like, oh my God, this is a utopian kind of plan. Like this maybe will never work. It's not realistic or whatever. But like over the course of the last,
It's like I'm picturing the you know the images of it's like, you know, the avatar, like kind of, you know, everything is you know, blue and green, and there's just
yeah,
fields of flowers
Lionel
and
huts,
blue
everybody joining
skies.
hands and dancing in a
Yeah.
circle, thought bubble.
yeah, it did feel that way for a minute where I was like, maybe this is too good to be true. Maybe this is like, you know, like maybe we're being kind of too idealistic about this. But the thing, like over the course of the last 6 months, I pitched this to, and Fern has been in these calls pitching it too, but we've like pitched this to a bunch of like very high level marketing people, and then also like a bunch of like in the trenches people who are like buying programmatic advertising as a career, and like they agree with it. And it's like
Wow.
you're watching people who are like as enmeshed and incentivized by this current model as anybody
Right.
been doing it, and they're nodding and smiling and saying like, yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
And it's like that,
Because they're seeing people turn away from
Yeah.
those channels, you know.
yes. And like that to me was like over the course, like I said, of the last 6 months, it was like every time we had one of those calls, it was like, oh shit, like maybe this is real, like maybe we're onto something here. And I think like, you know, that kind of remains to be seen. There's a ton of like impediments ahead of us as far as like making this work as a business, but I think like the fundamental dissatisfaction with what's happening currently is like that's very real and universal. Like nobody has stepped in. Like we've had some people who like seemed like they're aware that this is kind of like challenging, you know, what they do, or like at least calling into question what they do. But like no one has argued with this. Like no one has argued with this premise of like this sucks. The current situation sucks. And I think like yeah, we'll see. Like I said, you know, like one of the biggest things Fern and I like go through on these calls is there's no, at a lot of these companies, there's no mechanism to pay for what we're offering. So it's like they're set up structurally, and they have like they have relationships with agencies and with kind of third party auction houses that sell programmatic or whatever. And that's how they operate. Like that's where the money goes, and it runs kind of automatically. It's like it's just the setup, and it's like peeling money off of that, or like kind of diverting that. It's like, how does that go? Like how are we like, and everybody has, you know, they sponsor athletes or creators, or they have like event sponsorships or whatever. Like there's mechanisms to do it, but it's not immediately clear in a lot of cases like how this would act, like where a check would come from, you know what I mean? Or like who an invoice
what
would go
budget
to.
are you drawing from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a huge, I mean, that'll be a huge thing to figure out. Like we're asking car companies and agencies who are like pretty staid and set in their ways to like to kind of make a special category for us, so that they can pay us for something that we just invented 6 months ago. So
I found the first version. You want to see
Ooh,
it? It's yeah.
let's go. Whoa.
This was the first, I think the first layout I made for back when we were calling it W123.
Yeah.
An absolute developer's nightmare to actually make this a functional UI or anything like that.
Yeah.
This was all this
Whoa.
kind of mood.
So for listeners, this what Fern
Yeah.
is showing us is kind of this. It's I mean, it's a screen, kind of a horizontally oriented screen like you'd be looking at
Landscape style.
on landscape style like you'd be looking at on your desktop or laptop.
Yeah, they're
And
mock-ups of the first couple
yeah,
website
and so
designs.
stories are kind of like arrayed around this page in kind of columns, like 3 columns across, but also up and down. And
Yep.
yeah, it's not really like it's not like the websites you're
Yeah.
accustomed to seeing over the last
Ever.
since
I was trying to
True.
break constantly. I was trying to break the edges of like because the content box design is everywhere, right? Like
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's just a general way to portray information. I think some of that is okay. I think, but
Well,
it's
it's
just like
funny. I mean, like I feel like there are so many, like there are adults using the internet now who have never known a version of the internet that wasn't
yeah,
kind of what it is
It's
now.
true.
The thing is, for me, I look at this and this reminds me of like what websites looked like in the 90s.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
funny. I was just telling like
kinda
my
does,
daughter
yeah.
was like asking about stuff, the other day, just like the olden days, did you have to write papers with your, in handwriting in high school? I was like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
And
did.
she's just like,
Even I
brainstorm.
did.
But and then I was explaining kind of like the way that the World Wide Web kind of evolved um, but it was funny for me to think about, it's like, oh yeah, God, you know, there was that time. I mean, really all through the 90s, kind of like where I mean, it was like it was just this sense of possibilities of like,
Yeah.
you could kind of like do anything with this, and it was about just really just being creative and thinking about like, well, how do I want to lay out a page, on
Yeah.
how can and then how can I do, it's like, you know, before even like Dreamweaver came along or whatever, and
Yeah.
so yeah, it's just like that's what this is kind of firing all kinds of
Yeah, I
It's like
never
the
thought about that before.
ancient
That's
synapses
interesting.
in my brain.
Well, it looks good.
Um,
Unlike I have the most '90s website of all time that's currently operating, but
I
this
know, I
actually looks
love
good.
that.
Oh, thank you, dude.
Yeah, I've seen it, and it's one of those things that like I see it sometimes in design, but like I get jealous of the discipline of not doing too much.
All
You know what I mean? Like
HTML,
pure
baby, by
HTML,
hand.
pure
and
text.
and just I just know I could never do it. That's why I could never just leave it that way.
I know.
But you come from a place of like maybe not having as much design experience as I, and it's probably helping you.
It is. It's all I'm all instinct up here. I'm just like I'm pure word cell. I cannot rotate a shape to save my life. And so it's all text, baby. It's very pure.
The
Word cell.
It's true.
Yeah, this
I'm not a shape rotator.
this is, I think, like it's like pre-optimization too. It's like that's the
Yes.
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
think like that's like I think that's kind of like philosophically that's kind of like the site currently works very well, and it's like technically a very good website, but we want it to look and feel like it's not optimized to within an inch of its life.
Yeah.
I think like
Yeah.
There's room.
Yeah.
There's,
that's
free
what
No,
makes
room.
things good.
It feels like it does a really good job of that. Fern, can we see a version of this with the banner ads plugged into it? Just
Oh,
do you have
Oh
it?
yeah.
Do you have
Let's
any
see
of
this.
those?
Let's see
I don't
evil alloy.
I don't know if I have that.
We have
Fern,
dark
we should
Did you
alloy.
save
erase
any of
that.
those?
We
I
should
don't think
take
I did.
This mock-up
Oh, that's sick.
to
Oh, there it is. There it is.
yeah, right there.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's horrible.
Check that.
No.
I grabbed this because it was so fucking stupid.
Tax unveiled. It's a couple of elderly
Listeners, there is a beautiful, perfect layout, and then in the center
Oh,
of
it's
it,
so funny.
there is a little block that says "How we make money," and there is an Google ad
Yeah.
server, a white little horrible little rectangular ad that says "Nanny tax unveiled" with a photo of a dog
That's
talking to an
actually-
old woman.
That's actually
takes
very funny. It's kind of like it's really the best possible way to do that. It's kind of
But
the
Well,
least
that's
bad
what
way to do it.
that's what these real sites, like multi-million
I
dollar
know.
big,
yeah, that's what they do.
Ah.
that's what they look like.
Yeah, yeah.
And of course, like
Well,
this was
except that it's
full of
like it's 20 of those.
Yeah.
I mean, the balance
Yeah.
the balance is inverted. I mean, what you
Yeah.
guys have here is like
Yeah,
a bunch of squares with content stories, and then one rectangle with with this hideous banner ad. I feel like what it is now is just you have 30 banner ads, and then there's
There's
like
a
you have to
video in the
find
corner.
the story. Yeah,
There's a full
exactly.
screen. We have to find
Like
the
which
X to hit. There's
Yeah.
5 of scrolling ads moving with your screen as you're scrolling.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But yeah, no,
The-
it does look like somebody just kind of took a dump in the middle of this like beautiful
I was trying to at one
tableau.
point. I don't even know if I have. Maybe I do somewhere, but I was trying to lean into it at some point with my own humor, which is like not for everyone, but like literally just say this is how we
I
get
love
money.
it.
No, that's
That's
perfect. I mean, that's what
And-
kind of saves it, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like
It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
there
I
was
get it.
there was oh yeah,
we should take these layouts to Logan and Lulu, our developers, and just be like, look, the site's been out for 2 weeks, for a week, and
Oh my
it's not
God.
going the way we want it to. So like, can we just like real quick?
yeah.
Can we just kind of shift everything?
Can we
into
shift
this?
like, we realized we have to start making money, so can you start?
Yeah, really.
Can we throw up
but yeah.
some banners?
That would be
Oof. Can you
hilarious.
imagine? Whoa.
Our developers, wonderful people, and they did a great job.
Shout outs.
But they are doing the part of the breakup where it's like they're putting up their boundaries around like, okay, this is within scope to fix because it's a bug. That would be new scope, like
Right.
they're
Yeah,
being very-
understandable.
which is what they should do. Like that's but
Yeah.
setting healthy boundaries.
Yeah.
yeah. But the appeal to me of going to them with a total redesign and asking if that's within scope would be it's just like a classic type of thing that I would do to somebody.
Yeah. Are they excited to be working on something
Yeah.
so
Good.
different? I mean, I would have to
Yeah.
think that just like creatively that would be like
Yeah.
fun.
I think so. I think it was tough for them too. They're typically more involved in the design part of the site, and so like typically they would get a brief and start from scratch designing it and then building it, and like I think they were a little it's different for them, I think, to get something that is so far along as far as like the
Oh,
visual
okay.
language and like
Yeah.
so that was kind of a struggle early on.
Yeah.
So
at
their
one point-
task is more like less kind of developing this thing from scratch and more just like taking this visual language that you're presenting them with and just making it functional.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
trying to bring the mock-ups into like a more like, not that it's their fault, but like in a more traditional blog
Sure.
layout, because I
Mhm.
mean it is optimized, right? Like there is stuff that works for a reason, but I think
Right.
a lot of what we were trying to do was like, breaking the mold a little bit in terms of that as well. And
Yeah.
it took a minute for them to like be like, oh, okay, like I see what you're trying to do. We're not gonna follow those kinds of
Yeah.
rules and then
Yeah.
kind of make it into
No, I
something different.
Yeah, I feel like the site does like a incredibly good job of kind of striking that balance between just having consistency in terms of functionality, in terms of like being able to navigate it easily.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really easy to navigate. But also like providing the opportunity for for a lot of just different a lot of variation in the way that stuff is presented visually and
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
mean,
it's tough because if you break too many rules design wise, like people are just going to get frustrated and not want to use it. So like,
Yeah.
it can look
No,
as
and
good as you
I feel
want.
like it's the opposite of that. It's the perfect amount of kind of variation that keeps your brain engaged and like keeps you
Yeah.
it's like what's that Japanese lady, the thing of like sparks joy or whatever.
yeah,
It's
the
like,
Marie
oh, this is
Kondo.
delightful, rather than just being like, assaulted with, or just confused, where it's like, how do I get back to whatever? How do I,
Yeah.
yeah.
The
And it also, I mean, Fern, just like visually, man, like the way that the stories are kind of presented, just like that variation, it really does have a sense of like you're almost like a musician, just like riffing, and
Yeah.
just like, and
It feels like
and
that, Peter. I was going
yeah,
to
it's
ask you
really
about that
fun.
because
Yeah,
it feels like I in my like in my brain I'm making connections to the story that's being told, and um and I can sort of make new connections with the visuals. And
right.
my hope is that people kind of get that. I think to a degree, like that's the goal, obviously, is for them to understand it. But like I've been
Yeah,
trying to do it in a way that feels different and maybe lets somebody else understand something in a different way, or come to their own conclusion, which is probably what you do in music as well. Is like, you're telling a story, but you don't want to just tell them a boring story. Like,
Right.
you want to
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
illuminate it and let their brain go to other places as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
a lot of that effort has been to try and to find a way to do that on a more like consistent basis. And even if it's like a more straightforward story, like can we find a way to kind of make things interesting with the visuals, or
yeah.
help
No, it's
tell the
just
story,
yeah. No, it's just about like making things like not making things engaging, not as
Yeah.
distinct from driving engagement. It's
Yes, exactly.
it's
Yes.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's drawing you in. It's making you want to, by presenting this thing that's really appealing. And yeah.
We were talking about the story Rally Hard yesterday, and
Mhm.
the 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 story is about Andy actually driving um uh, uh an HRC like rally car to SEMA. And they gave us or I think Alex got it right, Rory, like
Mhm,
the story.
mhm.
But they gave us like folders and folders of just stuff that they're doing. Like, it wasn't curated at all, and like a bunch of random fucking shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was annoyed because I was like, I don't want to dig through this to make this
Right.
fucking story. And then I found this like Insta 360 footage that is meant to be put together, so like you can kind of
Mm.
look at it, like click
It's like a
and look at it
3D.
in a 3D, like a 360
Oh,
degree.
sure.
But the way that the film comes like in a raw format is like these two big fucking circle things that,
Yes.
you know what I mean? So when you put them together,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
kind of scroll around. But I was like, I'm just gonna put that on the cover,
It's
like
so
the two
good.
huge circles, because it's kind of chaotic, like Andy is, and this story is about two dudes just like kind of, you know,
Doing
trying
something
to
stupid.
Yeah.
yeah, they're doing something stupid, trying to get to SEMA, and like there's all these like problems along the way, and it's kind of funny. So it felt like a skateboarding video or skateboarding,
Right. Totally.
like,
Yeah.
Absolutely. The sense of
but
motion. Yeah.
that was the intent behind it. And hopefully people kind of get to those places, or are intrigued by it. But yeah, sometimes in my head I'm like, I'm fucking crazy. Like, I don't think anybody's gonna
No,
get
it rocks. It's great. I love just scrolling the page. Like I'm just like scrolling up and down on the Alloy front page right now, just enjoying the brain
the
feel.
weirdness. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's like
Brain feel.
it's on there. It's the texture. It's like when I was a kid, like
Yeah.
I had like the same 10 issues of Nintendo Power that I had gotten during like one
Yeah,
year I
yeah,
was subscribed, but I held on to them and I was like always rereading them, and it got to be like
yeah,
a familiar texture to me to like go back over these articles and get a feel for like the design sensibility that they had at the time. And like it feels good to look at something that has that like not only the feeling of like linearity that I get from scrolling through, which I think you guys touched on
yeah,
earlier about putting content in order, but there is just a feeling of like it's that uninterrupted structure. It's the feeling like I'm not being led anywhere else. I am just flipping back and forth through
yeah.
my
You're finding
magazine.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, it just
yeah.
feels good.
A lot of what I initially gathered in like mood boards and stuff was like Japanese uh editorial magazines.
Yeah,
Oh
Like
wow, cool.
and you know how those are. I mean, there's like shit everywhere. If
yeah,
there's a
Yeah.
blank space, something's got to go there.
it's busy.
And that's part of my aesthetic too. Even though I don't I don't want to totally admit to that, because I think good design is also simple, but like um to me it's exactly that. You're coming here and you're kind of enjoying the process of finding out what this stuff is or what this stuff is. You're not necessarily going there for a headline every time, you know?
I
So
think
Yeah.
there's too like a something that kind of undergirds all this is like I've been through like redesign processes on other sites before. And I think like however interesting and fun those initial discussions are in those contexts, you eventually end up like, okay, we have to get eyeballs onto these banner ads or like this right rail where people are clicking on stuff, or like we have to, it's like all about um fundamental like driving eyeballs to those things, and like getting like that's how you make your money. So it's like if you get rid of that initial kind of like, or that like fundamental piece of this, then it's like the freedom to design and the freedom to like think about like, okay, how is a user going to use this? We're not trying to make them do anything except spend time on the site and enjoy it. Like
yeah,
that's a totally different philosophy than the regular process or the regular philosophy. And it's like it just allows everything to be so much, there's just so much
yeah,
more freedom. It's like um so like whatever this is like it comes down again to the like optimistic thing where it's like um the optimistic part of my brain wants to say like if you offer people a better experience, and like if everyone is saying, hey, we hate the way things are, and you're like, all right, like here's a different thing,
yeah,
check it out. It's like the optimistic part of my brain is like people will be like, oh, okay, like yeah, this is what I want, like this is better.
yeah. That's not always the case. Yeah.
The pessimistic part of my brain is like, man, like I can look at the movies that are doing well in the theaters. I can look at the movies or
Yeah.
the songs that are. But it's also like, we don't need to be Taylor Swift. So we don't need
We don't.
to be the top earning. Maybe you don't, or maybe I don't, but maybe you do. Like we don't need to conquer the world with this thing. It's like, can we build a sustainable business? I think that's also like another
Yeah.
philosophical thing, whereas like Fern and I like making this stuff. We like the creative part of it is fulfilling for us. And I think like, whereas if we were private equity owned or owned by a bigger company, the incentives then are to like, okay, how do we maximize the profit out of this thing? How do we get this to a 20 million, $50 million business or whatever? And it's like, that's just not necessarily how Fern and I are
Yeah.
motivated, I think. I mean, it's like
The process
been
looks different under those, goals.
yeah.
Sure.
So
I think Fern and I have been doing this for a year and not getting paid at all for it. So um that's kind of like like that's where we start versus like where the other places have to
Yeah.
start. And I think like um that also kind of changes the equation. And it's also
yeah,
again, it's like
The love of the game, man.
Well, it's not even so much that, but it's like everybody, you know, if you go to the automotive stuff, or if you're going on trips or going to auto shows or whatever, it's like you sit around and talk to your colleagues in different places, or it's like you can call people like who run some of these bigger businesses, and it's like this constant doom and gloom about like this business is falling apart, everyone's everyone's getting laid off, you know, no one knows if they're going to have a job from one day to the next, and it's like I typically in general don't obviously fault the people who work at those places for that, for the situation that they're in. I think like a lot of the people are doing really good work or trying to do really good work, or at least aspire to do really good work. But it's like at a certain point, you can either sit here and be like, oh man, the ship is really filling with water, or like you can start trying to bail the ship out. And I think like Fern and I,
or build a lifeboat.
build a lifeboat. Yeah, I think like Fern and I are fundamentally like people who are going to undertake that project of like getting some of the water out of the boat, or
Yeah.
building the lifeboat. I think like that's like who we are in our lives away from work too, is like, yeah, I can fix that. Like, you know, like I can get a hold of that. And like, if we do this, and this, like we can actually make something cool out of it. And I think like, that's kind of what this is. It's kind of like why this feels like a DIY thing for us.
Totally.
And it's like, that again, it's like that sub layer, deep down motivational layer of stubborn optimism that just like won't go away. So yeah, that's the
Amen.
Hell yeah,
Yep.
brother.
It's also called, a lot of people also call that being stupid. So it's like it's like two sides of the same coin. I don't know.
There's a gray area there for sure.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's like that's the somebody was like asking me about this, and I was like, you know, the only difference with any of this stuff is like whether this was a stupid idea or the most brilliant idea in history is like if it works. If it works, you're a genius. If it doesn't work, you're a moron. And it's like that's pretty much how I live my life. So we got
can I ask one question, just playing devil's advocate?
Yeah.
Of both of you guys. What happens when you get the call? It's like, Rory, Fern, I would like to develop some content to tell a story about my robo-taxi. My new Tesla robo-taxi.
I don't anticipate that being an issue given my prior interactions with Elon. But I would say in my initial response would be that we would not do that. But I'm trying to think of a way that I could ruin his life by doing that.
I know.
So
many paths.
yeah. So it's like any opportunity you get to cross paths, you have to kind of think about like, what can I do with this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which would be my calculus. I think we'd probably say no, unless there was a way that I could really make it effective.
I mean, you could just say it's a sliding. You guys operate on a sliding scale basis, and so it would cost him like, you know, $47 billion.
It's true. There's a real Top Gear opportunity there, right? Like the first like Tesla Roadster, like didn't Top Gear like say they were going to do something,
that's
but they just shit on it.
Yeah.
Classic.
I mean, that was like before I really knew anything about Elon and before I knew anything about Tesla, the company, they sent me a Model S to review and it broke, and it was like, Fern, I don't know if you know this, but like I'm sure I told you this, but like it got stuck in my driveway. There's like a little pin that's on a relay, and the pin holds the charger in the car. It won't let you release it. Like if the car's locked and you're charging, a stranger can't come pull the thing out. Like that's a common thing. Like all
I've always
electric
wondered
cars have
about
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the little actuator failed or whatever. Totally normal failure for a new car to have. especially like an early build. But when that happens, you can't move the car. Oh God, yeah, that's right. There was a video about
I
this.
remember.
Yeah. But anyway, it stuck all of us because my driveway was so narrow you couldn't move a car around it. So everyone was stuck in the
Oh
house
God.
um,
Oh
for a couple
wow.
days while they fixed this. And like I went through the normal channels. Is like as a car reviewer, the practice that I'm always in is like if something happens, pretend you're an owner and try to solve the problem like an owner would. Because like that's useful information to an owner. Nobody at Tesla, like this was so early, they didn't have any service people, like nobody would get back. And finally I put it on Twitter, which was like kind of not new, but like it was not what it is today, or like what it ever was. Like it was like very early days, and it
Sure.
blew up, and it was like became this national story, and like everybody was writing about it. And Tesla PR, which they had a PR department back then, finally called me, and they were like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" And I was like, told them, and they flew some guy in from Minnesota to try to fix it. In the meantime, I like stuck a feeler gauge in the charger to try to like see if I could get the pin to release or whatever, which the guy when he got there was not happy about. Like he was like, "Don't ever touch these." But that also was my first, because like trying to figure out what the issue was. Tesla on the phone was giving me a bunch of instructions, and so I started like pulling carpet and trim outside or out from inside the car to like access stuff.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh my God, like who
Ruh-roh.
fucking built this car? It's like, I'm gonna drive this on the road like with other cars. It was like it was like all of a sudden it was like who welded it? Like had this person ever operated a welder before? Like
And
had
was
they
this like a
seen-
pre-production car, or was this like an
it
actual?
was a real car. Yeah, it was
Wow.
this was like one of the
Oh.
first Model S. I don't know if it was a VIN car or pre-production, but it was
Yeah.
production. Like it came off the line, like it was a real car.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was like, oh my God, like this is a real piece of shit. But yeah, so
Matt- Listeners, Maddie just linked us to a video. If you go to YouTube and search Tesla Model S faulty charger leaves Rory Carroll stranded.
Oh my
Bring up
God.
Yeah.
this Auto Week
Actual video.
video
Jake Lingaman.
from
Yeah.
12 years ago.
It's been more than 36 hours since we've seen Rory Carroll. We think he's okay, but all we have to go on are his cryptic tweets and word that a Tesla technician flew to him under the cover of darkness. Carroll has been home since Monday evening with a Tesla Model S that won't release its charger. He's tried locking and unlocking, unplugging from the wall, and good old-fashioned screaming and pounding on the hood. Tesla says the Model S locks its charger in place to protect against malicious unplugging. They didn't say anything about purposeful unplugging. Rory was performing a range test on the vehicle, but I think at this point we can safely say that its range is 0.
Yeah. So and then of course I got blocked by Elon. He was having kind of a meltdown about the
Was it just about that, or were you go?
no,
were you,
this was a separate. So he years later he was having a kind of a hard time building Model 3s. It was like a kind of a catastrophe. He had this idea that the cars were all going to be built by robots, and it was called the something alien dreadnought, and he
Oh,
like
yeah.
insisted on building his own
so stupid.
version of the assembly line from like his imagination, which was like a picture from a sci-fi movie, and he just like sent it to the engineers
Right.
and was like, build this. And they're like, oh, that's stupid, that won't work. And he was like, just build it. And then it was a catastrophe. The cars couldn't build them on the assembly line. They were like torque sensing kind of ratchet bots that were like trying to install bolts, I think from the main subframe to like the front or from the main frame to the front subframe.
Yeah.
But they couldn't tell when they were cross-threaded, so they would just over torque a cross-threaded bolt into and they would be like sticking up half an inch out of the front of the car. The cars would roll off the line and like put one wheel down and the windshield would shatter. It's like you can imagine a brand new car in a clean assembly line rolling off the line and then like just exploding. And so there was some like financing or maybe it was a government incentive, whatever, where they had to build a certain number of Model 3s in a certain amount of time to get the money. And so they ended up kind of shutting down the assembly line and hand assembling these cars in a tent. It was like a catastrophe.
Oh yes, like, no, I remember. I've read about this episode.
And so Elon tweeted something about like, and this was back when you could like yell at celebrities and Twitter didn't protect them,
right?
But which was like the only good thing.
The only
Twitter.
good part about Twitter, right?
Yeah. But the he got on there and was like, "Hey, we're having a hackathon to rejigger the assembly line and get some of these production issues figured out." And I was like, "You should have a hackathon to invent a time machine, so you can go back and hire a CEO who knows what the fuck he's doing." And immediate block from Elon, which is like, I'm so glad he saw that. Like he saw it, and I know he read it because he blocked me. So I
Didn't
don't.
he later unblock you though? I thought I recalled.
He did.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he
needed your guidance.
Meltdown.
Again.
Well,
or did they make him unblock people? I forget.
The Super Bowl was happening, and his tweets were not getting he was like making a bunch of jokes, and they weren't getting a ton of engagement on the site. And so he had one of the Twitter devs, or presumably a group of them, kind of trying to figure out what could be behind it. And one of the solutions was, you blocked like whatever 100,000 people, and so he unblocked everybody. And so then I got caught up in that. But yeah, I don't think he'll reach out. I mean, like I said,
it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Could you imagine just having even like, if it was even like 1,000 people, the fact that you had to block 1,000 people because they were sending you abusive shit.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
It is funny though to think about like the CEO of all these companies. I mean, this has been said before, but like who spends that much time on Twitter, who like it's just like it's a real illustration of like the workload of the average chief executive officer,
right?
Just tweeting. But anyway, posting. Anyway, I don't think they'll come to us. I am willing to have the conversation with Elon, obviously. Like I said, I'm certain there's a way for me to worm my way in and ruin his life, but let's talk about it.
Okay, yeah. Well,
long
you heard it here first.
We're willing to work with.
I don't know if Elon's been listening to the pod, but
I'm sure. What else has it got to do?
Yeah. Cool.
All right, we've got an hour and a half here. Should we wrap her up?
Yeah, I think we can wrap it up. Where can people see Alloy?
They can go to what is it, Fern?
It's alloymag.com.
All right.
Yeah.
And we're on Instagram at alloy_mag. Yep. We do have a registered Blue Sky, which I think Maddie has seen. I don't think I've ever posted anything on there.
We also have a YouTube channel with no videos.
And we have a TikTok with no videos.
That's fine.
Too.
Oh, we have a TikTok too?
That's
cool.
Yeah, I just got
content
the name.
forthcoming.
Yep.
Yippee.
Gotta figure out what to put on there. Yep.
Awesome. And if I may, on alloymag.com/sign-up, you can go and there are membership tiers where you can support Alloy at a $50 a year, $100 a year, $500 a year, or one-time $1,000 payment to support the site.
Yeah, and Rory's going to make you a car.
We do have $1,000 member at this point.
Wow.
Yeah. Someone's getting in there.
So, before we, I actually wanted to ask you guys before we bail. I mean, I did look at those tiers and like you guys have plans for some interesting stuff, like beyond
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like merch or whatever. It's like you're talking about like publishing like physical like
Yeah.
books and things. Like what
Yeah.
tell
So
tell us
yeah, I
more.
think we have obviously like the merch stuff is starting to roll out. We did like a really limited merch run this summer, which sold
With the
really
hats
well.
and yeah.
Hats and shirts. So we're gonna keep doing that stuff. And I think like obviously like a membership is a good way to get a first look at that stuff, and then you can get discounts on it. But I think again the live event piece of this is real, and like that's kind of um like important, I think, to us as far as like being able to provide value to people who are like membership holders or people who are like become members of this, is like let's go to IMSA race, do a guided tour, like get some behind the scenes stuff. That
Yeah.
kind of stuff is really interesting to me. And I think like again, it's like if we're gonna build something that's bigger than just a typical website, like that's got to be a part of it, like meeting people in real life.
Mhm.
And then the sorry, you said the memberships, the
Books.
book. Yeah, the book thing. So I think people have asked a bunch, like because the site looks the way it does, like have asked like, are you gonna do a print thing? And I think the plan now is to do a annual book with like all the best art and writing from the magazine or from the
Oh,
website
awesome.
into
So be
like
like
one.
like an anthology kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We started calling it a yearbook, but we didn't like the name yearbook. But like
Anthology is good, Peter. Damn,
that's good. Yeah,
that's good.
we're gonna give
I
you a
Because I was
little
an English major.
Yeah,
little spiff on that. Yeah, yeah.
I I was like, man, yearbook sounds like so stupid.
We should change that. Yeah, the anthology
But
is good.
it would be funny if we played into it too, like
True.
actual yearbook
Yeah,
Good bit.
graphics and
Well,
stuff.
Yeah,
most
and everybody
likely to
everybody like
succeed.
signs it at the
Yeah,
end. You
yeah.
know, have a great
Yeah.
summer. Love you
Have a great
lots.
summer.
Best eyes.
Yeah.
Best, yeah.
See, this is where my brain goes all the time, and I'm sure Rory's sick of it.
It's so good. I love it.
That's
Commit to the bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that'll be cool. I think that it'd probably be something we'll sell on the site as well. But I think like there's something about like the tangible print thing. I think like doing
Absolutely.
10 issues a year or 12 issues a year does not make sense to me at this juncture. But I think doing one like hardcover thing would be really cool.
Yeah, I think it makes it special too. You know, it's kind of
Yeah.
like an event. It's like a Pirelli
Yeah.
calendar or something.
Yeah, or like the well, not exactly like the Pirelli calendar, but the oh, who knows, the
Maddie, you should Google Pirelli calendar.
I'm on my way.
Just so
but the other thing that we look at too is like Ferrari does a yearly racing yearbook for like, which is really like a throwback to their old business where it was like a racing business that sometimes built road
Yeah.
cars, and it's like
yeah.
they do a basically like a prospectus, like an investment level prospectus with all the like stats and like how much money was spent and like how many tires they bought and like all the like, but it's gorgeous, and it's like
Yeah.
it's for people who are like involved with the race team.
Right.
But like that's kind of the idea for that. The other thing, I put this in as a joke on the $1,000 level, thinking that no one would sign up for it, but I am committed now to making a steel car from scratch.
I did warn him about this. I have some
Yeah.
crazy ideas,
Wait,
but
what
I did
was
tell
what
him.
was the thing? I don't remember what was the promise.
That I would make you a car from steel and that Fern would paint it. And so I
little
think
die cast? Like, yeah,
Like a
little
functional
bespoke die
car?
cast?
It did
No,
start
not a
as
whole
a die
car.
cast. It did start as
Yeah.
a die cast, and then Rory's like, "Well, I'll just," of course, Rory like, "I'll just make one."
Yeah. So the plan.
So we're talking like
There
124
is a
scale
slight-
A little
or
full,
plan,
164.
I do have a plan that, so you know those you can cut out the little like out of a piece of paper you print off this like
Papercraft
thing that
card.
looks
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Sure.
papercraft. So I just cut that out and then cut the shapes
Of
out of steel,
Yeah.
weld them together, and then
Voila.
paint it. Yeah, you got a car.
Do you
It
get to
should be
pick?
pretty easy.
Do you get to pick the make and model of your little custom
No,
out?
It's a Lotta. It's a
It's a
Lotta. You get a
Yes!
Lotta.
That's right.
Yeah, everyone gets a lot of yeah.
You know,
That's
it'd be so
A
fucking
preview
funny.
of our governmental policy.
yeah.
It would be
yeah.
so funny if Elon got the $1,000 and you had to make him a car
Well, that's
and show him
the
how
thing.
to weld, right?
Yeah. Look, so here's
Right.
I can go to the Tesla factory with my cheap home edition welder and be like, guys, everybody come in here. Look at this. You want to make sure these surfaces are clean, and you want to bevel between these. I think a lot of you are feeding the wire too fast and maybe not using enough heat. That's why you're getting a lot of that splatter.
Yeah.
And the surfaces aren't clean. But the
And the robots all nod up
Yeah,
and
right.
down.
yeah.
Tesla stock
The-
just goes.
Yeah.
To the moon, baby.
Yeah.
The card thing I think will be pretty straightforward. I think the main advantage to doing the Tesla or the Lada versus say a Tesla is that all the surfaces on the Lada are totally flat. So like there's no
Exactly.
I don't have to bend
Yes.
anything.
Yes,
I don't have
that's
to
right.
yeah. Should be pretty straightforward.
As it should be. Yeah.
That's
Yep.
right.
Yep. That's
So,
God
yeah.
intended.
Killer,
All right.
man.
Let's wrap her up and we can go look at the website.
I love looking at the website. Thank you, everybody, for listening to Tired. Stay tired out there. We'll have plenty more fun stuff for you soon. And go to alloymag.com.
Stay tired.
Cool. Stay
Stay
tired,
tired.
guys.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thanks
Yeah,
for coming on,
thank
Fern.
you.
This is super fun.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I
man.
appreciate it. I appreciate you guys having me for sure. So thanks.
Awesome.
All right.
All right.
Peace.
See you guys.
See you guys.
Bye.